Alright, if uploading goes, if uploading is going the way I want it to, then earlier today I posted my reaction to the first Spinosaurus video Goji Center did, and now we're here to see Spino number 4. Yeah. Yeah, because it was pointed out that in the newest trailer that they spotted a 4th Spino, and yeah, so we got 4 Spinos, 1 Mosa. Although, I did mention something in the last video that watch it just be like an editing mistake or something, and I am going to laugh so hard if that's what this turns out to be. That it was just an editing mistake. I don't think it was, but who knows? Yeah, we'll find out. But judging from the thumbnail I've seen on this and some of the videos I've seen some people make about what the final fight of this movie's gonna be, that being a lot of people think the Spinos are gonna fight the D-Rex. Well, we got a 4th one to enter the center. Yeah. I can see some people saying maybe JP3 Spino will show up in this. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it'd be cool if it did. Yeah. Regardless, we're gonna see Goji Center's video on this. More Spinos. Things don't look good for D-Rex or Distortus Rex, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely gonna have a bit more trouble if we got contender number 4 in this. Yeah. Yeah, well, regardless, this will be interesting, and yeah, we're gonna go. I got nothing else for this intro, so you know, do all the good stuff, like, comment, subscribe, go support Goji Center, check out the original video in the description, and without further ado, let's jump right in the video now, shall we? Yep.
Well, what do we?
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, that's, okay, yeah, that doesn't look like an editing mistake, but it could be used to throw off, because, you know, sometimes trailers do throw in a little extra and then remove it in the final cut, but yeah, that's not exactly looking like too much of an editing mistake. But hey, who knows? Maybe we could get duped. Who knows?
Have here.
That's just me being me. But yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I'll stop pausing. Let's get into this.
If you're one of those that still thought 3 Spinosaurus and 1 kaiju-sized Mosa wasn't enough, one of the latest Jurassic World Rebirth trailers comes to surprise us with a brand new entry to this franchise. Another Spinosaurus! On this episode of Goji Center, we take the plunge once again into the depths of this hellish island to look into some of the new information and speculation involving some of the greatest comebacks in dinosaur history. This is Jurassic World Rebirth's now even larger Spino Pack explored. We will get to it.
They do have different color pattern spines or sails, hold on, because this one has that
larger.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, these two have the same. Are about the same. This one has a different one. Yeah, and then who knows what the 4th one looks like. Yeah.
Lord. We will get to explaining what this sailback and kaiju Mosa dynamic will likely bring to the film. Before that, however, we'll give you a bit of a recap on the sailback's role in Jurassic films, and then speculate on what would happen if these 2 entities met. So, if you didn't know, the sailbacked sovereign of the Sahara, Spinosaurus aegypticus, has been a mainstay of the franchise since the 90s. Seen in obscure toys and video games from the Lost World era, and then stomped into the big screen in Jurassic Park 3, inflicting irreversible trauma to a whole generation of T-Rex fanboys. Spared from a cut sequence involving a huge pack of raptors bringing the Spino down, suggesting we would witness the sailback once again in the future, and then never seen again after more than 15 years. Enter Jurassic World in 2015, and the most we got was a shattered skeleton. Yeah. Some would say a failed attempt at balming old wounds, but any hope of T-Rex retribution was left with a sour taste when it was finally reintroduced in Camp Cretaceous. Yeah. Once again exhibiting how much of an apt combatant it still was. Or could have been, had it not been mind-controlled.
Oh.
So it was a great surprise when Godzilla 2014's Gareth Edwards...
Yeah, I still need to watch Camp Cretaceous.
And David Koepp, writer for the first 2 Jurassic Park films, and unlucky snack for the buck, gave us more Spinosaurus than we ever thought we could get before. Almost as if all that Spino we should have gotten in 20 years was crammed in...
Oh, hold on, I want to catch the sails. Okay, so 2 Spinos have the going down lines, and 2 others have the horizontal, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, yeah. And I can't remember the difference between the 2, but yeah, 2, I know I know how to use them right. 2 horizontal, in this context at least, 2 horizontal, 2 vertical, yeah. Maybe it's an indication of their gender. I highly doubt that, but that could be a thing. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah.
should have gotten in 20 years was crammed into one movie. And with a new reveal at the CCXP show to some friends down south, we got more surprising news that there will be at least 4 Spinosaurus giving their best effort to murk the cast in the latest outing. This new revelation, behind-the-scenes info about the plot and movie, and some rather interesting figure advertisements have gotten us eagerly speculating about the role these sailbacks will play in this movie. We have seen social habits between the Tyrannosaurus and the franchise before, but the individual anomaly that was the angry Spino we saw in JP3 and Camp Cretaceous meant we never got to see this aspect before.
Yeah.
In fact, given how territorial and
it's just been kind of a loner, so it'll be interesting to see how they socialize with each other.
aggro the last individual was, it might well have been the last super predator we would expect to be chummy with just about anyone.
Yeah.
Some of the differences between the original specimen and this new quartet might even explain some of this. The Spinosaurus that debuted in Jurassic Park 3, canonically created sometime in the late 1990s, according to the viral marketing information, was made to be accurate to the understanding of the animal at the time. Essentially a Suchomimus on steroids with a round sail and tall frame. However, Spinosaurus was still a very poorly understood animal in the 1990s, and in-universe it might have been that Dr. Wu didn't have the best samples to work with. Attempts at patching up the genome and experimenting in the amalgam testing that seemed to create this creature might have altered the end result. Some marketing material described this as an accident left on Sorna.
I'm calling this the common cold of genetics. We can't cure this one soon, I'm sure, because we're actively manipulating and mutating the animal's genes, adding frog, bird, and reptile DNA. We create what is known as null allele. The dinosaurs cannot live without something added to their code. So for now, we're stuck with scales. Maybe my research into gene splicing will unearth this problem. Certainly proved its limitless capabilities with that accident we left on Sorna.
The Scorpius Rex was the first intentionally created hybrid dinosaur, but Dr. Wu had already been splicing in patch DNA to finish out the genome and doing limited gene editing on every creature he created in the past. He just wasn't intentionally making them different at the time. Whatever happened in the 90s might have resulted in the Spinosaurus expressing traits more like typical theropods, whether that was from modified genes or patches to the DNA to fix up anything that caused unintended side effects. It's just with science having an incomplete understanding of the creature at the time, nobody noticed the errors. And these errors, combined with it being created alone and experimented on by humans, might have resulted in the super predator we saw in 2001, being as aggressive as it was even before the Kirby's accidentally broke into its house and hit it with an airplane.
Yeah.
By contrast, these new Spinosaurus haunting the island of Isle St. Hubert may have had some bugs worked out in their mind as much as they did their body. When exactly these Spinosaurus came about is still unknown. If this installation was used for research and development for the second park, since Sorna's facilities would have been unusable, they may have been engineered sometime in the late 2000s to 2010s. We believe this is the case, and that this pack might be a more refined second attempt closer to the real thing. Spinosaurus' real-life social habits are still mysterious, but predators that hunt in the water like them, such as crocodiles and herons, tend to be surprisingly chummy with each other. A more refined creation with a more true-to-life body might have wound up with a more true-to-life mind. And the Carnosaur family Spinosaurus belongs to does have indications implying at least some species, like Mapusaurus, were actually pretty social. Adding to this, the four we see do resemble each other close enough that it's possible this pack is a group.
Even then, the sales aren't entirely related or similar, but similar stripe patterns. Yeah.
Of siblings, or at least two sets of siblings that paired off as mates.
Yeah.
As long as they grow up in the right environment, even solitary predators that are intelligent tend to still be friendly to blood relatives. Tigers and bears can maintain family bonds even after years living alone. Survival in the wild is a matter of your...
Well, that's nice to know that they don't just, just go ahead and just straight up kill each other after that.
bloodline making it to the next generation. So making sure your siblings survive too.
Because I was under the, well, I was not under the understanding of every animal doing this, but I was under understanding of some animals just see each other, blood related or not, and then, just go full-blown psychopath murderer on each other. Yeah. Yeah.
Is often a wise strategy. The group being related also does make sense when we put the four individuals side by side and look at their sails. Two have horizontal stripes and can be distinguished by one having a nick in the sail, and the other two have vertical stripes, and they can be distinguished by the thickness
Yeah,
of...
those have a nick. Curious.
Said stripes. The exact names and relations between the pack members we just don't know yet, but we would expect Universal wouldn't slip on the opportunity to market the four individually like they did the Raptor Squad.
Yeah.
This is also a reason why we were
nice.
skeptical of early rumors that the classic Spinosaurus would be returning as the leader of the pack. Had the original Spinosaurus met this new quartet, we doubt they'd rise to the top or have the friendliest reaction to each other.
Yeah.
Given the original InGen Spino had been through as much as it did to make it one of the most aggressive beasts in the series, and having to rough it alone on one of the most dangerous locations in the franchise for years, it might not exactly be the most sociable beast.
Yeah, I don't think it would either. Like, if the JP3 Spino came up like all alone and hate this thing, because from what I understand about this thing is that this thing is a loner and it hates everything that moves. And if this thing came around like some of its own species, I imagine it'd have some curiosity, but ultimately would like just, you know, start seeing red still with the four. And those four, I don't know how they would scale in power compared to this, like 1v1, but there's four of them and one of this guy, and that will not end well for the JP3 Spino, like, at all. Like, because, you know, they work with the Mosasaur with a symbiotic relationship. They clearly know how to work well with each other, and there's four of them and one of this, and, you know, it's, at the end of the day, it's still a Spino, and evidently a Spino is no pushover, regardless of whether it's stronger than the JP3 Spino or not. So, yeah, I don't see this being like, I don't see a good outcome happening. If JP3 Spino met those, yeah, they most likely just tear each other apart.
That is because social predators with close-knit groups can be hostile to outsiders.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
Sorna's
that too.
apex predator would be an uncanny-looking stranger to the pack. Remember, in nature,
Yeah,
those
it also looks different too, so they'd probably be like, hey, he looks different from him, attack him, or something like that, yeah.
lead groups rarely got there by beating down all the others. Had the JP3 Spino reacted to this new pack with the aggression it treated other predators and tried to forcefully take over, the Spino would quickly find himself outnumbered by the retaliating pack. This fearsome foursome certainly are going to be a major threat to the cast, alongside their
And imagine if they're close to water and they get the Mosa to come in too, like, it is done.
colossal Mosasaur ally. But there is also another threat in the water that might be less friendly to them. This minifigure playset showcasing some of the boat scene also shows off this whole area seeming to be full of sea mines. If this is true, we might end up leaving the movie with fewer sailbacks than we started. That, or the Spinosaurus might even be aware of this danger and were intentionally driving the boat towards it.
Ooh.
But this may not be the only action scene we see the sailbacks in.
Hey, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe there was maybe that's one of the reasons why the sail has a dent on it. Maybe it got caught up a little bit in the blast of one, possibly. Maybe. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how to get set off without it killing it, but you know, that's just. I mean, that's just my guess. So, yeah. And seeing that, they're just like, huh, these things blow up and do damage. We can use these. Let's lure the boats into them. Yeah.
For the next movie. In a movie that apparently has very familiar-looking quilled raptors, abandoned laboratories, stranded families, hostile pterosaurs, and Spino-inflicted violence towards boats, it seems like Jurassic Park 3 nostalgia is in. And while the new crop of sailbacks might not be pitted against the new Tyrannosaurus, water-loving as it is, the classic showdown from almost a quarter of a century.
I don't think we should rule it out, because, I mean, I'd definitely say it is still possible, but will it happen? I don't know. Honestly, I'm getting the feeling that the T-Rex probably isn't going to get too much screen time. And honestly, I'm fine with that, because while I do think it should have better screen time, more specifically being able to be stronger and everything, and not needing help anytime it fought something like it did with the Indom and Giga, because I'm just like, come on, they call you the Tyrant King for a reason, like, come on. But I can definitely see it still getting less screen time, because, you know, of how much screen time it has had. And they're just like, let's give some screen times to some other dinosaurs, you know? So, yeah.
Century ago might be revived in a new form. A recent toy commercial for the Colossal Clash figures prominently showed off one member of the Spinosaurus pack pitted against the new Tower of Terror in this latest outing, the Distortus Rex. However, as educated by grown men slamming toys together like we did in our younger days, just one Spinosaurus might not cut it against a Goliath bruiser like this.
Yeah.
Seems to spoil the outcome pretty obviously, with the Abomination winning in the
if they even get involved with this guy in the first place, because, you know, they probably couldn't, there's a chance they probably couldn't get involved with this either, so yeah. Who knows, maybe it could just be straight up humans versus dinosaur in this. Possibly. Who knows.
Commercial. Note, however, that the commercial makes a point to bring up how intelligent the Spinosaurus is. More genius than Bruiser. Definitely something that doesn't sound much like its counterpart back on Sorna. Especially if the Distortus itself might be pretty sharp with how it curiously plays with its latest victim in the trailer. But if the point was to be brains versus brawn, why fight?
That's definitely one hell of a poster there, huh?
Fight solo. Notice how in the trailers the Distortus seems to catch up to the cast at a dock, and Mahershala Ali's character Duncan seems to be heroically trying to draw it away into following him. And where is it following him? The water. And he lures it into increasingly deep water. As silly as the toy commercial is, it might have a point. One mighty predator might not be enough to stand up to this gargantuan abomination. But in an almost perfect reversal of that cut sequence with a pack of raptors jumping the Spino to bring it down, now we might have a pack of Spinos to even the odds. The Distortus is a massive monster and might prove to be one of the most powerful in the franchise. Too much for one rival predator to safely bring it down. The addition...
I don't see one Spino being able to take this thing down, but 4 of them? Oh yeah.
Of the 4th Spino, and now seeing that this is a considerably large pack, makes us think that these are turning out to be expendable. At the end of the film, if we do indeed get a Spino versus Distortus showdown, having a 4v1 melee is a bit of an uneven fight. Unless, of course, the Distortus pulls off a genius maneuver. Unlikely, given that Colossal Clash hinted at the Spinos being smart as well. We might end up seeing something like a 3 versus 1 or even a 2v1. Meaning that somewhere along the film, we should not be surprised if the Spino count starts diminishing. Either by human-made weapons, perhaps another dinosaur, or perhaps even witnessing a D-Rex going berserk.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting. The numbers go down and it's just like, and they're just like, ah, crap, we shouldn't have taken them down because we could add more Spinos to fight this thing with, but we accidentally killed one and another got bodied by the T-Rex or something. That's my guess if that would happen. I don't know. That's just a theory I came out with that being brought up. Yeah, that I just thought of. Yeah.
And taking out a good number of these all by itself. The finale to the next movie might yet involve the biggest theropod melee we have ever seen, possibly showcasing the deadliest pack in the franchise against the largest monstrous force yet.
If that does happen, just please, the only thing I ask is that do not let the Mosasaur come out and just snatch the kill at the end. That's all I ask. Yeah. Other than that, I'd be down to see what happens with this. Yeah. Bro, I'm gonna have to try to avoid spoilers like the plague with this. Like, I know at one point I said that I didn't really care too much for spoilers, unless it's something I really care about. And well, this happens to be something I really care about, and I just, I'm gonna have to avoid spoilers like the plague when it comes to this. Oh boy, I didn't have to worry about spoilers with the last movie because I went to see it on the day of release. This one. Oh boy. With how many eyes we've got on this, I gotta be careful. Regardless, I'm still excited to see it, yeah. And, yeah, I'm gonna go into the video now. So if you enjoyed it, check out, oh my god. If you enjoyed it, check out the original video, which will be linked in the description below. Go support Goji Center for making this amazing video. It will be linked in the description below as well. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Check out my gaming channel. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.